strap up those seatbelts because we're going to be taking a ride and a little bit of a journey.
I found an app that uses state-of-the-art AI to analyze your entire long-form content and uses smart speech technology to take out the most interesting parts of your video and breaks it into short-form content. And thanks to this amazing app, it literally takes me seconds to produce 10 short videos at a time. So what is the name of my secret weapon, you ask? Well, just click the link in the description below and find out for yourself. It wouldn't be much of a secret if I just told the whole world, now would it? Trust me, you can thank me later.
So let's jump into it. The O-line. All right, so now on the O-line, I'm going to go through my top 5 offensive linemen. And I know some of these guys I've talked about quite a bit, and a couple that I haven't really talked about at all. So I figured today we would go over just a few of these guys and see what your thoughts are on them. So make sure that you're hitting down in the comments and let me know. Do you agree? Disagree? Who did I leave off of the list? I'm always willing to learn more and more every day. So if I've missed somebody, hey, hit me up and say, Raider D, you forgot about so-and-so, and I will drop a video possibly on that player. Let's start out with Mr. Joe Alt out of Notre Dame. Now, everybody has probably heard of Joe Alt by this time. He is a phenomenal tackle, left tackle predominantly, and he is one of those dudes. He's at 6'8", so he's an absolute monster. He has that size that you want for an offensive tackle. He's been better this year using his size and his length to his advantage. So you definitely like to see the progression tree continuing to go up for a guy who is probably going to end up being the first left tackle off the board. He is a top 10 prospect. I absolutely love the way that he is able to use his own leverage and keep those defenders at bay, protecting his quarterback's blind side. So a very, very good prospect. Unlikely that the Raiders would get him at 13. Like I said, he's going to be off the board somewhere between, I would say, pick 3 and pick 10. Moving on to number 2, and that is Olu Fano out of Penn State. Another guy, I mean, him and Joe Alt, this is like, you know, a 1 and a 2. It could go the other way. You could have Fano going first off the board, Alt going second, because both of these guys are true left tackles. They're absolutely phenomenal. If you're looking at Fano and you're thinking, who should I kind of look at him as? Look at Tyron Smith with the Cowboys, and that's what you're going to get with a Fano. He is going to be a Pro Bowler. He is a big-time left tackle. Anybody that's going to pick him up is going to have a great lockdown tackle for a good 10-plus years, as long as they can afford him after his rookie contract comes up and he requests to be the highest paid tackle in the NFL, which he probably will because he's going to be a Pro Bowler probably every single year or in the running for one if he stays healthy. So a big guy that could possibly end up at pick number 13 for the Raiders. And if the Raiders were to have him at pick 13, it's a no-brainer. You grab him. Yes, I understand. We don't need a left tackle. We got Colton Miller. What are you talking about, Raider D? Well, because I believe between him and Joe Alt, I think Fano is the one most likely that you can move over to right tackle. And if Colton Miller goes down, it's an easy switch for him to come back to left tackle. I think he would be more versatile in this realm than Joe Alt would. So that's why I would say he would be a good pickup. And it's possible, not saying likely, but possible that he could end up at pick number 13. Again, this is if the Raiders do not move up to get a Jaden Daniels or a Caleb Williams, or maybe even a Drake May, who I'm not super big on. More likely scenario at pick 13 for the Silver and Black is going to be Sione Fua out of Oregon State. Now, his draft status is kind of moved up a little bit, so he might be off of the board before 13, but I do believe that he will probably be there at pick 13. Fuaga is a true mauler. Fuaga is a violent player. He loves the run game, and this is one of the issues that we had last year is we had some pretty decent, not off the charts, but we had pretty decent pass blocking also because we did max coverage quite a bit of time where our tight end is staying in, running back is staying in pass protection. What we need is a guy that can get out there on an island and do both pass protection and really handle that run game. We want to see our running backs, whether it's a Josh Jacobs coming back on a team friendly deal or it's Zamir White's time to take over as RB1, and then we draft one of these studs that we talked about earlier in the video. We need a guy who's going to get out there and lay out linebackers and lay out DBs. We need a guy who likes to do the run game offense. And Sione Fua is exactly that. He just looks like a Raider. When you watch this guy play, when you look at his pictures, you think, yeah, there's basically two teams that he would fit in with like a glove, and that's the Raiders and the Steelers. So let's hope that he's wearing the silver and black and not the black and gold. Sione Fua, I think personally for what the Raiders need, he's number 1 on my board, but talent-wise, he's number 3. Moving on to J.C. Latham out of Alabama. We know Alabama produces some pretty darn good linemen, and J.C. Latham is absolutely no exception. He is a massive man, supersized offensive tackle, 6'6", 360 pounds, but he moves much, much quicker than a player of his size realistically should. He has very consistent hand placement. He is physically gifted, and he's good at both run and pass protection. Really like J.C. Latham. He's probably going to go somewhere between pick 13 and pick 20. Now, moving to my 5th guy, and that's Amari Mims out of Georgia. Georgia also produces quite a bit of talented offensive linemen, and Amari Mims, again, is no difference. He doesn't get all of the big hype that is going on right now, but I think realistically, other than Fashanu and Joe Alt, any of these last 3 guys are interchangeable. I think any of these guys could go before the others. Really, it's just a toss-up. But we're going to say Amari Mims is 5th on the board. He is one of those dudes. They just don't make a whole lot of guys like him, right? He's got a massive frame. He's very athletic. He's got great flexibility. He's able to just flatten out defenders. He's good in the run game. He's good in pass protection. Doesn't get all the hype as a Joe Alt or a Fashanu, but Amari Mims out of Georgia is going to be one of those anchors on your offensive line for years to come.